dugsiga boardingka iyo maalinlaha ah ee Amano Boarding and Day School.
And everybody watching, welcome to our social studies lesson. And I'll be taking you through chapter 4. And under chapter 4 we shall be looking at the First World War that we had previously looked at. We shall be looking at just try to look at maybe a preview of the causes, the main causes of the First World War. Then we shall go ahead to look at the sides that were engaged, that were involved in the fight, the First World War. Now, before that, it's important for you, grade 7s, to be able to look at this. There's a timetable here. Now, this timetable here, like you had been told initially, is of the Cycle 1 examination that we have next week. And as you can see, it is important for you to note the dates and the day on which a particular examination is going to be held, to be done. So on Saturday, the 9th, you have English examination. On Sunday, you have Social Studies, the 10th of May. And on Monday, you have Mathematics. Tuesday, you have Science. Wednesday, 13th, you have Arabic. Now after Wednesday, the other week, on Saturday, you have Islamic, Tarbiyah. That's when your exam ends. Good. So as I said, we shall go ahead and look at a preview of the main causes of the First World War, which we discussed in our previous lesson. What do you think they are? The word main. Good. Now, here, a quick reminder of the main causes of the First World War, which we talked already. Now, here it is important for you to memorize this main mnemonic. This main here, M, stands for militarism. A stands for alliances. Alliances are friends, making groups, making friends. Then imperialism, where some countries looked at themselves as superpower than the others. Then we have nationalism, people who are ready to defend their countries, and therefore they moved to fight in the war. Main. When you are asked to name the main causes of the First World War, then you have main, militarism, alliances, you see, and you also have imperialism and nationalism. Good. Now, today we are looking at this First World War, which began in June 1914 and ended in November 1918. Right. What were the sides that were fighting? Which countries were fighting? Remember, we said this, that the immediate cause of this World War, the First World War, was the assassination or the killing of Franz Ferdinand. Who was Franz Ferdinand? He was the Archduke who was supposed to inherit power, who was supposed to come to power in Austria-Hungary. But Austria-Hungary thought that it is Serbia that assassinated or killed their prince. What did they do? They declared war. So Austria declared war on Serbia. Now what happened? The allies or the friends of Austria-Hungary helped Austria to fight Serbia. The same way, friends of Serbia defended Serbia by fighting Austria. So it was like, it was divided, the world was divided into two groups. Now one group was called the Allied powers, Allied. An ally is a friend. So when we talk about Allied powers, we're talking about an ally. Ally is friend. Okay? Friend. So we are talking about Allied powers. Now, when we talk about Allied powers, we mean friends. Now, two opposite sides fought in the First World War. Two opposite sides, meaning that one side is fighting, the other side is defending. These sides were the Alliance countries or the Allied countries and the Central or Axis countries. So it's important that after you've noted that one side was the Allied, then the other one was the Central. We have Central or the Axis powers. When we talk about powers, I mean countries. So there's war. This war, the First World War, was between two major sides. One side was the Allied side, friends. while the other side was the central powers of the Axis powers. Now, the Allied nations included the following countries that you have to master them. We have them, as you can see here: United Kingdom, we have Russia, we have USA, we also have other countries. But before that, we shall look at a map showing where these countries, especially in Europe, that were engaged in the First World War. Like you said, we had the United Kingdom, we had also Russia, and also had the USA, those that were allied. Now, this is where this world war broke. It's important for you to notice that here, Austria, we're talking about Austria-Hungary, which is here, right? Declared war on Serbia. Serbia is down here. Now, what happened is that when Austria declared war on Serbia, allied countries to Serbia decided to attack Austria-Hungary, and countries that were friends to Austria-Hungary decided to defend. So countries were attacking each other, one camp or one side helping the other side. Italy is here, we have Greece, we have Ottoman Empire, also known as Turkey. We shall be looking at which side it was. Now, then we can proceed. We have, well, looked at three countries that were the Allied powers. We have looked at the USA, we have looked at the UK and Russia. What do you think is the other country? Here they are. We also have, okay, well, before we look at the remaining two, here there is the map of Europe showing us these countries that were the central powers and allied forces or allied powers. Now, the central powers are here in purple, while the allied forces are in somewhat green. So here, the allied, you can see Russia was allied, Serbia was allied, France was allied, Belgium was allied, Great Britain was allied. So the allied powers, you should have to master them. That Great Britain, Belgium, France, Serbia, and Russia, these ones were allied powers. What about now the central or Axis power? You can see them here. They are in purple. We have Germany, we have Austria-Hungary, we have Bulgaria, and we have the Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire is also the Turkey. Turkey is also known as the Ottoman Empire. It's actually its old name. Now, these were the main forces that were fighting in First World War. So initially, we had said the United Kingdom, Russia, the USA. Now we have France, Italy, and Serbia. These countries were known as the Allied powers. Now, the Allied powers were fighting the Central powers. What about the Central powers? Who are they? Central powers or Central nations included Germany, which was a strong force. In fact, other countries were aiming to defeat Germany. Then we have the Ottoman Empire, and we have Austria-Hungary. We also have Bulgaria, like we saw on the map of Europe. Now, this is what happened. As fighting took place, the Germans were defeated in this war. So towards November 1918, Germans were defeated. Now, what happens if you are defeated? You lift up your hands with the white flag maybe, and you surrender. You say, okay, enough is enough. We have surrendered. We have given up. When somebody defeats you, even when people are fighting, you see, one will have to surrender, either by running away or by lifting up the hands that, okay, I surrender, I have nothing against you. So here, after Germany was defeated, nationalist leaders like Adolf Hitler did not accept peace. They were not happy that Germany was defeated. So they began now having some different thoughts about war. Now, Adolf Hitler blamed the Jews for the defeat. He said that some people like the Jews were lazy and they did not want to fight. They were afraid. So Adolf Hitler gained control of Germany. He now gained control of Germany. He became a great nationalist leader. Now, other leaders across Europe developed extreme form of leadership. That means they became dictators. These dictators, there was a great dictator in Italy, also known as Mussolini. This leader was called Mussolini. He was also a leader of Italy, who was a dictator alongside Adolf Hitler. So different leaders developed different forms of thoughts. They became dictators so that now they could revenge during another war that was to come. Now, Benito Mussolini, like we said, also became a dictator in Italy. You see? Now, we can look at the pictures of those dictators, but before we look at the pictures, this is what you said, that this First World War had two sides, two opposing sides. One was the Allied powers, and the other one was the Central powers. You should be in a position to name at least 4 countries that were the Allied powers. We said we had the United Kingdom, we had France, we had Great Britain, and we had the USA. While the Central powers were led by Germany and Italy. We had them. So you should be in a position to name the Allied and Central powers, differentiate them. Then this picture here of Adolf Hitler, you can see, was a dictator. After the First World War, was a dictator who continued to nurture, to nurture Germany until the Second World War, when they were also defeated. So here he is. Then we have Benito Mussolini, who was a dictator also in Italy after the First World War. Remember, Italy and Germany were in the Central powers group, so they were defeated. Then they decided now to be very cruel, to be very harsh, to be dictators. Benito Mussolini is here. Like you can see, he became a dictator in Italy. Now, that marks the end of our lesson about the forces that fought in the First World War. Thank you for watching. Have a nice time.